Freedom. How free are we really? Like, how free are we to live our lives? We're coming up on the 4th of July weekend where it's like literally this weekend has this theme of freedom. And our forefathers literally said, fuck no to being oppressed. And they had a freaking revolution. And that's how America was formed. And I'm just thinking about like freedom and like, how free are we really? Like, yes, we have like so many freedoms in this country, which we don't want to take for granted. But then like in our day-to-day, moment to moment, how free do we be, right? Like if you're in a 9 to 5 and you're just always being like yanked by someone else, like at the mercy of someone else, if you're in your 9 to 5, how free are you really? And even if you're a business owner and you've started your business and you might even be having high revenue months, high profit months, but how free are you really in the moment to moment? Like really free to be you. I think back to when we were kids, I often will tell my clients, there's two people that you need to honor. Your 8-year-old version of yourself, that girl who just knew that her life was going to be fucking epic. And she knew that she wanted to go and do things. And she was fucking unstoppable. And she dreamt and she was curious and she played and she went and did things. And for some of you, maybe like me, you've had like a really traumatic childhood and it's not even your 8-year-old self. Like I was talking to a friend and she was like, I think that I started really feeling the contractions and all the like suppression and oppression from family and expectations and society as early as 2, right? But it's like, are you going to honor that child, that moment when you were just so fucking pure and you were connected and you didn't doubt yourself? Like all of us had that. There was a moment when we didn't have doubt and we didn't have fear. We just went and fucking lived. We were so vivacious. There's that version of you who looked into her future and was like, I'm going to do great things with this life. So that's one version of you to honor, like honor that child in you. And then the other version, the only thing that you should care about is actually honoring your 80-year-old version of yourself. The one who looks back at her life and was like, what the fuck was my life for? What did I do with my life? And it's like, here we are in that in-between of we were children, some of us so young, pure, and just knew that anything was possible. And then gradually through experiences, we got limited. And so our freedom to be self-expressed, to have joy, to have fun, to play, to live, to go do the things, we find ourselves adulting and like all these contractions where you're like kind of being a little bit grumpy with the people in your life, kind of being a little bit snippety, being short, being stressed, feeling like there's no time. Are you free? If you're in that space, right? Are you free if you always are like, being controlled by your calendar? There's like a to-do list that's forever never ending. You're always jumping through hoops, checking off milestones. It doesn't matter. Like, what I like to talk about is this whole journey of freedom. Freedom from the 9 to 5, freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of expression, freedom of being, and then beyond. And like freedom of where you work, geography, there's so many freedoms. And then the other level that's like even bigger than freedom is being sovereign. Because freedom is like, I can do anything I fucking want. And it feels amazing. And when you're sovereign and you're totally centered with yourself, you're like, I could do everything that I want. I can do anything that I want, but I actually know what's mine to do. And that's when you're so sovereign and you're not trying to do everything for everyone. You're like, no, this is actually for me. And for me, all of the conversations, everything that I do with my clients is a journey for letting go of who you think you are to discover who you really could be, who you're really meant to be, who you really came to this life for. Like, what is your life for? You signed a soul contract and you came to this planet with like lessons in mind, things to do. And if you're not taking advantage of the freedom on every freaking level, not only freedom of time, freedom of choice, but like actually going out there and feeling free to express yourself and do the things that you've always dreamt of doing. Going back to what I said, there's like that child version, maybe that's an 8-year-old version of you. And when she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to do all these things and life is going to be so amazing. And then we started adulting and we get like contracted and constricted and oppressed. You know, I asked someone earlier today, I said, would you rather, if you had a choice, would you rather live in oppression and do what you're supposed to do, what was expected of you, or would you live in exile and be completely free to be who you're meant to be in this lifetime? And you know, for me, I love freaking the 4th of July and this like vitality and this vibrancy around freedom. But I just invite you to look at like, where are you really free? Are you free from the past? I know for me, oh my gosh, I don't, if you've been seeing me lately, I've just had a big family reunion, 80 people. And it was like so incredible because it was the first time ever that I was with family and I wasn't getting triggered because I was in the seat of my awareness. I was totally free to be me, free to stand my ground, free to voice what I want to say. This is all new for me. I have always been so constricted, so limited, playing small, not expressed, because I was always scared. I never felt safe to just do what I wanted. I mean, I did when I was a kid, right? When I was in that real pure space. But like many others, you know, we're pure when we enter this world and this life. And then society starts to fragment us. We are, you know, in our most golden, most vibrant time, 5, 6 years old, we're shepherded through an education systems that teaches us to stay in line. Don't color outside of the lines. You know, do what's told. You have to know the answer, right? And society just like kind of cuts off little pieces of our freedom here and there. It's almost like you're getting dismembered slowly over time. You don't even notice it. And right now, if you're an adult and you're just kind of like, I don't have the deep satisfaction, the juicy, you know, spine tingling, dripping, laughing my face off, excited life that I thought I was going to live. If you don't have that, then what there is for you to do is to go through a remembering. You were dismembered, chopped up, all these little cuts, all these little fragments through society. And right now, what's going to bring you home is actually going through a rememberment, remembering who the fuck you are. And I love all the work that I do with clients. It's like the same journey of remembering who you are, expressing yourself and what you're here to do. And people intersect with me on all different parts of the journey. Some people are like, I'm in my 9 to 5, and as long as I'm working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and I'm fucking exhausted, I can't even think about anything else. I can't even think about like what's next or spaciousness or anything, because I just need to first take care of like cash flow coming in. You know, I've shown over 400 people how to take their expertise out of 9 to 5 and actually pivot it into consulting, coaching, creative businesses. And that might not be your forever game. You know, some people do that so that they can replace their 9 to 5 income and work half as much. And then they have spaciousness. They're like, I'm making so much money, I have so much time. And then they go and build dream business number 2, or they go and like start hobbies or whatever. Cause it's, you know, consulting and coaching could be a side business in order to build your other dream business. And I also work with individuals who are like, I don't even really know what I want. You know, it's like bringing people the clarity. I call it your clarity codes of like what you're here to do, like what you literally are in this lifetime destined to do. It's in your blueprint. You find it like in your birth chart, in your human design, in your gene keys, and like looking at it. It's like I was working with a client yesterday and we were looking at her human design, and I was looking at her channels, and I was like, yeah, this is what you're meant to do, designed, born to do this. And these are the different ways you can like express yourself, because not everyone's going to express themselves in the same delivery format, you know. And then one of my favorite things that I've been doing with individuals is having you really step into that sovereignty of being a sovereign CEO. It's like, who cares if you're doing 6-figure months, cash months, the way I was, and you have no freedom around it? You're always like in the grind, in the hustle, in the doing, in the proving. You can't, like, even when you quote take off, your mind is still spinning. You know, I'll never forget going to Hawaii with my old business partner, and we were like headed down to the pool, and her husband was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, you're gonna like take some time off. And then he looked down because she had her laptop in her, you know, and it's like, here we are in Hawaii going down to the pool. She had her laptop, and he was like, yeah, typical. And she's like, what? You know, I'm just going to sit by the pool and like answer some, you know, things that are coming in from clients. I'll be like relaxed, but it's like, you know, I used to do it too. I used to send all kinds of footage of me like, look at me, I'm working in this place, I'm working in this place. But it's like, I wasn't ever allowing myself to disconnect. And that's like being a sovereign CEO is someone who's like so freaking spacious, because what I've realized is that you can actually work less and earn more when you're spacious because you're so fucking potent, right? So it's just like this whole journey of finding your freedom, becoming sovereign, being the freaking alchemist of your life. An alchemist, if you think back to the old days, an alchemist would get something that was nothing, like a raw metal. Alchemy is getting something raw and turning it into fucking gold. You have so many raw things and you have literal gold inside that just needs to be transformed, transmuted, alchemized. And like, that's the work. Whether you're alchemizing and starting a business or scaling your business or expanding your sovereignty, it's all the same journey. And you know, it's like all the same journey with me. It's what I'm born to do. I see patterns. I bring people crystal clarity. And I am like a mirror that can reflect back to you what you don't know that you don't know. And then you, like yesterday I was with a client and she was like, oh my God, I'm talking to you and you just revealed a blind spot and now I can't unsee it. And once you see your blind spots, you can go to work on it. But it's all the same thing. And so this is resonating with you and it's nudging you and you're just like, there are so many levels of freedom that I have yet to access. And I also want my sovereignty. If this is like nudging you, then comment freedom below or DM me. And there's going to be somewhere on this path, on this journey, where I believe you and I can perfectly intersect. And I'm just here in your fucking corner because I feel like this conversation, it is my social impact conversation. It is the way that I like to give back to the world. It's like a strange one, you know, it's not like feeding the homeless or solving world hunger. It's like, no, my quest is a lot around business and a lot around spirituality and the combining of the two, right? Like the blending and the integrating of the masculine and the feminine energy so that we can remember who we are and come back to our most purest form and fucking go light up the world with all the beautiful gifts that we have, because each one of us has something unique and beautiful to share. So I just wanted to drop in here. I literally was just like eating lunch and I just like had this transmission and I was like, I'm in the vibration, I'm in the energy, I'm just gonna go do the live right now. So love you so much. Hope to connect with you and happy rest of your day.